Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm Anand Chakavalu. We've got longtime fools Jason Moser and Emily Flippen giving a 1 to 10 rating to the friend of sleep apnea sufferers everywhere. It's ResMed, ticker symbol RMD, snagging that much sought after required minimum distribution acronym. We'll talk about the business first, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible, a 1 is hopeless. Emily's got a 3. Jason, you're a little more sanguine at a 7.
Yes. Well, as you said, ResMed is a company. They create devices and software for sleep and respiratory care, things like sleep apnea. And I like, generally speaking, the company's market leading position. It's estimated there are 936 million people worldwide with obstructive sleep apnea, 54 million in the United States. And so the way the business makes its money from devices, which is about half of all sales, masks and other items with those devices, that's about 37%. And then you also have a software as a service. So it's a nicely diversified business in that regard. Now, I think the reason why I give it a 7 today, and I was on the fence there. I could have gone a little bit more pessimistic, but there are just a lot of question marks these days in regard to future growth, particularly with the rise of these GLP-1 weight loss drugs. So I give it a 7, given its market-leading position, but there are absolutely some question marks on the horizon.
Yeah, I very much gave it a 3 for exactly the reason Jason just mentioned. I think that's a controversial choice because the business is strong today, but 60 to 90% of all sleep apnea sufferers have the disease as a comorbidity of obesity. And for the first time in more than a decade, obesity rates are on the decline, in part due to the expansion of weight loss drugs. So while we're seeing the CPAP prescriptions increase alongside GLP-1s due to treatment plans, longer term, if you believe that there will be a decline in the rate of obesity, as I do, the growth rates for patients are likely to drop. So I have very big long-term concerns about the viability of this business.
So your positivity on our fight with obesity is actually negative for this stock. It's a good thing for humanity, right? At least. Let's talk about management. A 10 is Warren Buffett. A 1 is Homer Simpson. Jason's at a 9. Emily, you're at a 6.
Yeah, for management here, I'll give credit to the management team. They've been in place for more than a decade. The company has no insider ownership, though. It's basically non-existent. And I just don't think this management team is super forward-looking because they've been a little bit more plug my ears, go la 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 about the whole weight loss thing as opposed to addressing it head on.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more sort of backward looking in how management's done thus far. It's got a Moneyball super score here of 83. That's better than most, and that's in part thanks to strong leadership scores. Their CEO, Mick Farrell, has held the position since March 2013. He's been with the company since 2000. His father, Peter, is the founder and still serves on the board. Like Emily mentioned, there's no significant inside ownership at all there. But, I mean, you look at the 10-year chart here, the total return on this stock has been 325%. So you got to give credit where credit is due. And so I think that I give management a 9. I feel good about that. It remains to be seen how they handle these challenges on the horizon.
For financials, a 10 is a fortress. A 1 is yikes. Both of you have 8s. You guys finally agree, Emily.
Yeah, I can't live in denial here because when people are going to the doctor to get prescriptions for GLP-1s, they're actually getting treated for all their comorbidities as well, of which sleep apnea is one. And so the prescriptions for CPAPs are actually increasing right now, even with the expansion of GLP-1s. I don't expect for that to stay long term as people actually start to lose weight, but financially speaking, that is creating a really highly profitable and growing business. So the reality is they're an 8.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, just under $1 billion in cash on the balance sheet versus about $660 million in long-term debt. So a strong balance sheet from that regard. Very nice margin profile, around 60% gross margin, 26% net margin. Generates a lot of free cash flow. And the nice thing there is very low stock-based compensation as well. So you don't have to adjust much on the free cash flow side of things. And that's why I give it a 9.
All right, Jason. Let's talk valuation. How well will ResMed stock do over the next 5 years? How safe is it? 10's a sure thing. 1's a lottery ticket.
This is a tough one because, again, we just don't know what the future holds. I could see if they are able to succeed in the face of the GLP-1s, 5 to 10% returns there. You're looking at a business that's trading around 22 times free cash flow today and 27 times earning. Those are relatively low multiples, but it's understandable why, right? There are plenty of question marks in regard to the GLPs and obesity rates and how that's going to play out on their business. Safety, a bit of a wild card. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6. I feel like maybe that's a little optimistic, but hey, I'm trying to see things glass half full.
Yeah, for me, I'm a lot more pessimistic here. I give it expectations of less than 0%. And that 5-year time horizon might just be a little too short. It might take a little bit longer for the reality to play out for somebody to lose weight once they're based off these drugs. But I think management has set expectations incredibly high here for investors by speaking so positively about the landscape. When in reality, their safety is really closer to a 3. I mean, we just saw earlier this year, Zepbound, which is Eli Lilly's GLP-1 based drug, get approval to treat obstructive sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. So quite literally can be prescribed to treat the thing that ResMed is trying to sell. That makes me a bit more pessimistic.
All right, it's time for everyone's favorite Top It. Jason, is there a company in ResMed space that you like better? I'm sure Emily has one.
Well, I mean, I think ResMed is a bit more of a pure play, and that offers, I think, fair concerns for investors. There is competition in the space. You look at Philips out of Amsterdam. That's PHG, the ticker on the New York Stock Exchange. It's a bit more of a diversified healthcare company, so it goes beyond ResMed's primary focus. So that could be another option for investors to consider.
Yeah, for me, I really like Inspire Medical here. Recognize not everybody that has obstructive sleep apnea has it because of obesity, but Inspire Medical is a surgical treatment for obstructive sleep apnea. They have a smaller market share because you aren't a viable patient for a number of reasons, one of them being if you're too overweight. But chances are for people who actually suffer from severe obstructive sleep apnea, medical intervention just makes more sense as opposed to living and breathing through a tube in your mouth while you sleep for the rest of your life.
Thank you to both Emily and to Jason. They've given ResMed a low overall score of 5.6 out of 10, despite good scores for management and financials. Obviously, Jason's a little higher on it than Emily. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Coupang. Till then, Fool on.